Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is Elmer, or YaTuChavez. I hope you guys are doing well, and welcome back to the Zombies Chronicle full storyline. If you guys missed part 1, I will leave that linked in the description, also somewhere on screen, so you guys can go click on that. And right now, enjoy part 2, Dimension 63. Dimension 63, January 15th, 1292. The Great War between humanity and the Apothecans begins. April 14th, 1294. Sir Pablo Ramirez is saved from the clutches of Amarwa by 4 unknown heroes. They would later become known as Primus. December 31st, 1299. Together with the Keepers, Primus defeats the Apothecans, bringing the Great War to an end. January 1st, 1300. Before they seemingly disappear from history, Primus instructs the Wolf King to begin building Der Eisendrache. February 18th, 1300. Pablo begins documenting the Great War, including all he has learned from the Keepers, Apothecans, and Element 115. Regarding Element 115's power, he notes that a site in northern France contains massive deposits of the element. June 4th, 1300. In northern France, a tomb is constructed to honor the fallen soldier of the Great War. Within it, statues of Primus are constructed to symbolize the hope that if one day a great evil falls upon mankind, they may return. July 17th, 1898. Edward Richtofen's parents die. February 20th, 1905. Takeo Masaki fights in the Battle of Mukden. August 11th, 1906. Richtofen begins his studies at Heidelberg University under the tutelage of Dr. Ludwig Maxis. Having lost his parents, Richtofen comes to view him as a father figure. July 3rd, 1912. Richtofen and Maxis join Group 935. June 4th, 1914. Richtofen is visited by another version of himself, handing him some blood vials. He explains, "You will need this blood. When the time comes, it will protect you," before stepping back through the rift. January 5th, 1915. Maxis invents the Mauser prototype. August 28th, 1916. The journal of Sir Pablo Ramirez, Knight of the Great War, is discovered by Group 935. March 23rd, 1917. Using information gathered from Pablo's journal, Group 935 begins work at a dig site in northern France, where they discover a series of underground tombs. April 21st, 1917. Group 935 discovers what appears to be the entrance to a tomb's main chamber. They struggle to gain access. May 11th, 1917. Unable to access the main chamber, soldiers listen to the gramophone to alleviate their frustration. When listening to a recording of La Source Noire, the entrance to a main chamber unexpectedly opens. The camp's exposure to Element 115 begins. May 21st, 1917. Using information from Pablo's journal and the tomb's main chamber, Maxis draws schematics for the creation of 4 elemental staves and instructs Richtofen to begin their construction. May 29th, 1917. The more Maxis reads of the Great War, the more he begins to question his understanding of the scientific world and the true nature of the universe itself. He finds himself open to the possibility of a higher power. June 11th, 1917. As Group 935 experiments with Element 115, they successfully create localized energy fields which appear to function as portals. Noting that objects can pass through them, Maxis speculates that the rifts may have opened gateways across space and time. The rifts allow Samantha to reach out to Maxis from Agartha. She begs for help and ultimately reveals she is his daughter. June 5th, 1917. An ancient box with the power to manifest weapons from different eras arrives through a portal. Maxis fears that Element 115 is disrupting the space-time continuum. July 1st, 1917. Following the installation of Element 115 power generators, reports surfaced regarding ancient figures emerging from the dig site, corresponding with the mysterious deaths of a number of Group 935 soldiers. The ancient figures are undead knights from the Great War. August 3rd, 1917. Nikolai Belinsky is sent into exile. September 10th, 1917. Using Element 115, Group 935 constructs Frey, Odin, and Thor, giant robots who they believe will secure victory for Central Powers. September 22nd, 1917. Richtofen notes that in spite of Group 935's progress at the dig site, he is troubled by Maxis' growing obsession with Pablo's diary. October 6, 1917. Takeo Masaki is dispatched to France by the Emperor to gather intel on Group 935's weapon technology. November 19, 1917. Following reports of prototype armored weaponry, strange lights in the sky, a mysterious plague, and even giant metal men, Tank Dempsey is deployed in northern France to assess the extent of Group 935's capabilities. December 10, 1917. Already exiled in Europe, Nikolai receives new orders from the Imperial Russian Army to investigate the enemy's war machine. Still loyal to the motherland, he willingly obliges. February 23, 1918. Nikolai writes of the ongoing civil war in his homeland. He does not expect peace to last long, but he is enjoying his time in France. March 2, 1918. Learning that the Emperor wishes to meet him to discuss the matter of great importance to our nation, Takeo writes that he feels a growing sense of dread in the wake of his recent dark and twisted dreams. April 14, 1918. Despite ongoing battles, Dempsey fares well in northern France. In a personal letter, he reveals that both the Japanese and Russian armies have also sent spies to investigate the activities of Group 935. May 1st, 1918. Maxis is obsessed with the voice of Samantha, who now speaks to him constantly. He believes her to be the key to everything. May 12, 1918. Believing that his mentor has been affected by Element 115, like others at the dig site, Richthofen reports Maxis' erratic behavior to Group 935's senior staff. May 13, 1918. Richthofen learns from Pablo's journal that the northern France dig site may be the single largest deposit of Element 115 on Earth. He believes this explains why it has affected so many at the site. May 14, 1918. Now completely consumed by Samantha's voice, Maxis swears he will no longer serve Group 935's mission. June 4th, 1918. Element 115 awakens the undead knights from the Great War and quickly consumes the camp. Maxis is rendered catatonic by the element. Richthofen removes his brain before he turns. Dempsey, Nikolai, and Takeo unite with Richthofen on the battlefield to help free Samantha from her imprisonment in Agartha. Primus has been reunited. Samantha sends Primus to their next destination. Maxis' brain arrives in Agartha, and Dr. Monty decides to step in. Monty brings Maxis' brain to the house and wipes the Maxis corrupted by dark aether from existence. July 18th, 1922. Salvador Sal De Luca opens a gambling house across Chicago. This marks the beginning of the De Luca crime family. February 17th, 1923. Billy Handsome joins the De Luca crime family as a hitman. Sal will come to look at Billy as the son he never had. September 18th, 1923. An expert in gambling and rigging sporting events, Michael Finn O'Leary begins working for Sal. March 23rd, 1924. Finn marries Angela Bow, an aspiring starlet with delusion of grandeur. March 1st, 1929. Sal writes of his frustration with the Chicago's finest. After many years of successful bribes with the city, it becomes clear that this is no longer an option. May 11th, 1930. Sal begins to work with Albert Al Arlington, an associate in Los Angeles known for being a master schemer and bank robber. October 10th, 1930. Finn informs his lawyer he will not accept divorce from Angela, saying she can leave this marriage the day she leaves this earth. October 11th, 1931. After an LA heist for Sal goes wrong, Al wakes up in the hospital. October 28th, 1931. While in the hospital, Al submits Icarus from Mars for publication as a comic strip. It, in his third attempt, is denied again. November 11th, 1931. Angry and frustrated with his collapsing empire, Sal kills a prostitute. No longer willing to turn a blind eye, Chicago PD arrests him. December 1st, 1931. In an operation against the De Luca crime family, Billy is arrested for multiple homicides. December 19th, 1931. In an operation against the De Luca crime family, Finn is arrested by Chicago PD when his wife offers evidence against him. January 19th, 1932. Al is arrested for his role in the LA heist. May 14th, 1932. Sal is found guilty of murder. He is sentenced to life in prison at Alcatraz. May 16th, 1932. Billy is found guilty of 116 counts of murder. He is sentenced to life in prison at Alcatraz. May 30th, 1932. Finn is found guilty of 16 counts of gambling fraud. He will serve his sentence at Alcatraz. June 13th, 1932. Sal and Billy arrive at Alcatraz Island. June 30th, 1932. Finn arrives at Alcatraz Island. July 1st, 1932. Al is found guilty of grand larceny, grand theft auto, arson, conspiracy, and battery. He will serve his sentence at Alcatraz. August 3rd, 1932. Al arrives at Alcatraz Island. January 13th, 1933. Stanley Ferguson begins working at Alcatraz Island. April 1st, 1933. Al convinces Sal, Finn, and Billy that they can build a plane and escape Alcatraz. December 2nd, 1933. Realizing the plane would never be completed and embittered with rage, Sal, Finn, and Billy plot to get revenge on Al. December 31st, 1933. Finn, Sal, and Billy lure Al to the roof and kill him. January 11th, 1934. Stepping through a rift, Richtofen secures the blood samples of Sal and Finn. January 19th, 1934. Found guilty of Al's murder, Sal, Finn, and Billy are executed by electric chair. Mob of the Dead. Sal, Finn, Billy, and Al battle waves of the undead as they find themselves trapped in a seemingly endless cycle. April 16th, 1940. Richtofen arrives in Dimension 63, where he contacts members of the Illuminati and enlists their help to build a laboratory facility beneath Alcatraz. April 18th, 1940. Richtofen meets with Stanley Ferguson and convinces him to assist with the Illuminati's construction of the Alcatraz laboratory. January 3rd, 1941. Stanley Ferguson reports that the laboratory has been completed and that the subjects will be placed in a stasis chambers upon arrival. July 4th, 1941. Richtofen returns to the lab under Alcatraz, where he meets Victus, arriving from the empty Earth with the Chronorium. Upon reading the Chronorium, Richtofen discovers numerous timelines documenting their fates and learns about the blood vials. He will later write on the page, "I now know what I must do." ER 4741. Richtofen enters the rift to acquire the blood of Sal and Finn. After delivering the blood to his younger self and recovering the blood vials belonging to Victus, he returns. Victus is placed on ice to be kept safe until they are needed next. July 4th, 1941. Primus arrived to collect the Victus blood samples from Richtofen. Following Primus's departure, Richtofen learns the location of the summoning key and travels to his next destination. October 1st, 1943. Stanley Ferguson leaves employment at Alcatraz. October 21st, 1943. Posing as Mr. Rapt, the Shadow Man hires the reporter to recover artifacts from the South Pacific and Russia. December 14th, 1943. The reporter recovers the artifacts from the South Pacific and Russia. Among them is the summoning key. December 25th, 1943. As per Mr. Rapt's request, the reporter speaks to Stanley Ferguson, a retired guard from Alcatraz. Stanley gives a detailed account of the deaths of Al Arlington, Billy Handsome, Finn O'Leary, and Sal DeLuca. December 31st, 1943. At Mr. Rapt's request, the reporter arrives in Morgue City to take in its sights, sounds, and smells. January 5th, 1944. A meteor shower rains over Morgue City. January 30th, 1944. The reporter notes strange mold now growing all over the city. He also notes people are getting sick and acting delirious. February 13th, 1944. A fruit vendor tells a reporter about the ancient order of the Keepers and how they're the only ones holding back the forces of the apocalypse. He talks of people hearing chanting from beneath the city. March 30th, 1944. The reporter sends Mr. Rapt a telegram providing details and contact information from Nero, Jessica Rose, Floyd Campbell, and Jack Vincent. April 5th, 1944. Aware of the Shadow Man's actions, Monty writes to the reporter, warning him not to give the summoning key to anyone. April 10th, 1944. Jessica Rose learns a photographer is in possession of compromising pictures of her. April 20th, 1944. Pretending to be the company executive, the Shadow Man tells Nero's lawyer that Nero's wife has taken out substantial loans in his name. Nero has 15 days to settle before the company seeks reparation. Facing multiple debts due to his wife's spending habits, Nero decides to kill his wife and use her insurance to pay the debt. April 20th, 1944. Masquerading as an internal affairs officer, the Shadow Man tries to convince Jack Benson's partner to admit that Jack is on the take. Upon learning that internal affairs is snooping around, Jack plots to kill the snitch who could provide evidence against him. April 20th, 1944. The Shadow Man poses as a film director interested in hiring Jessica for a leading role. He tells her producer the part is hers. Afraid that the photographer might jeopardize her chance at stardom, she asks him to meet her so they could sort stuff out. April 20th, 1944. Posing as a journalist, the Shadow Man suggests Floyd Campbell is a journeyman fighter to Floyd's promoter. Wanting to guarantee his shot at the title, Floyd decides to wear brass knuckles under his gloves for his fight with Tony King. April 21st, 1944. Nero misses a call from his lawyer, informing him the documents are forged and there is nothing to worry about. April 21st, 1944. Jack misses a call from his partner, saying that he has his back with internal affairs and has nothing to worry about. April 21st, 1944. Floyd misses a call from his promoter that the fight was a success and that he has a shot at the title. April 21st, 1944. Jessica misses a call from her producer. He says he didn't have a good feeling about the director and it didn't work out. However, he scored her a lead in the musical he and his partner are financing. April 21st, 1944. Jessica kills a photographer and secures the incriminating photographs. April 21st, 1944. Jack kills the snitch who could turn him over to internal affairs. April 21st, 1944. Floyd kills Tony King in the boxing match and cashes in on his winnings. April 21st, 1944. Nero kills his wife in a work accident, cashing in on her life insurance policy to square away the debts. April 21st, 1944. Richtofen arrives in Morgue City to secure the summoning key. April 22nd, 1944. Richtofen learns the reporter has the summoning key and confronts him. The reporter waves Monty's letter at Richtofen and orders him to stay away before attacking him. Richtofen kills the reporter in self-defense. April 25th, 1944. Shadows of Evil. Nero, Jack, Floyd, and Jessica are knocked unconscious at the Black Lace Burlesque Club. They wake up in a twisted version of Morgue City, shifted slightly from reality. Told they can atone for their sins by the Shadow Man, all four are tricked into performing rituals. Jessica sacrifices her producer, Jack sacrifices his partner, Floyd sacrifices his promoter, and Nero sacrifices his lawyer. Completing the required rituals, the Apothecans are given access to Dimension 63. Realizing they've been duped, the four work with the Keepers to defeat the Shadow Man. They trap him in the summoning key, but before they can hand it over to the Keepers, Primus Richtofen arrives and steals the key. Richtofen travels to Dimension 2210 to secure an innocent Richtofen soul. He delivers the soul to the house. From within the summoning key, the Shadow Man states, "I'll be seeing you." April 26, 1944. The Apothecans destroy Dimension 63. And that was the timeline for Dimension 63 in Zombie Chronicles. If you guys did enjoy this, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe so you don't miss any future timeline videos or zombie videos similar to this one. Peace.